Oh, baby.
What's going on
baby.
tonight? What are we doing tonight?
We got those pregame jitters.
Oh, yes.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pregame show. As always, by Fubo TV, the cable alternative that allows you to put a middle finger to Comcast. Unofficial slogan I've kind of come up with. Guys, game 2 is here. Boy, it's like we blinked our eyes and then it snuck right back up on us. Doesn't it feel that way?
No. I've been aware of every minute that we've not been.
Does it not feel like we were just here? I'm saying these games are coming quick.
Well, yeah,
quick.
I've actually really liked the rhythm of this week, and knowing that even the LA game, it's a quick turnaround.
Quick,
I feel good. Right? Everyone is concerned about the team's momentum. I'm concerned about our momentum.
Yeah, we need this.
I'm telling you, this is a big game. Game 2, Nuggets up 1-0 in the series. We had some spicy commentary from Michael Malone. We're going to talk about who needs to step up. And then, guys, this has been a month of Jokic conversion. People just being converted. And I have a really interesting one I want to share with you guys that might mean something, really be like, put a fine point on what this playoff run has meant. But I got a squad here. He brought his A game. I've never seen this shirt before. Brennan, vote.
That's because it's brand new. Shout out, Mom.
Hey. Air horn that one, Kale.
Shout out, Mom, is in the person you took that from?
Did she make that out of her old drapes?
Pretty good, you guys. That's pretty good. Hello. Happy to be here with my friends.
Over here, the mean one, D-Line go.
Yeah, the mean one. What's up, guys? Nothing like a little light bullying to overshadow a lot of heavy bullying. Reminds me of Nuggets versus Lakers.
And then over there, Superstar Dev.
I mean, it was quick if you weren't online. If you were online the last couple of days, there's people going to war online right now.
Bro, I'm not online, to be honest with you, nearly as much. Just because the mentions are so annoying. So many children at the mentions, man.
I gotta say, man, I'm putting out bait and nobody's taking it.
No,
they're all finding me, and I'm not even putting out bait.
If you say the word Lakers, people create pages.
You actually don't
They
have
create pages.
You don't even have to say the word Lakers.
I think you do. I think that's how they're finding. Because I don't know how else they're finding me.
If you say the word Lakers,
there's no other fan base like this. There's no other fan base where like the mentions are just nonstop.
The guy had 2 followers. 2 different people with 2 followers told me to shut the fuck up.
For what?
Anything. I didn't say anything.
I didn't want to hear him talk anymore. That's what
It's wild out there, man, at those mean streets of Twitter.com. But we got a spicy Michael Malone, you guys. Spicy Malone in the pregame. What do you got for us?
He was spicy, and it didn't even have anything to do with the series, you guys. He was pissed that he had to go to his daughter's high school graduation.
Can I tell you something? I love that Michael Malone answers these honestly.
I know, me too.
I love them. Because okay, go for it.
Let's do the context.
Sure.
And then I want your reaction. Michael Malone, his daughter Caitlin, she graduated. They did it at Red Rocks. I'm dropping her name because he did. 3 hours I'll never get back, Michael Malone said.
I love that.
And he said,
it's so true.
And he goes, I might be in the minority. I don't really like high school graduations. I think you're supposed to graduate high school. But anyway, I'm
so
there.
with Michael Malone
It's
on
at
this.
Red Rocks, and it starts raining. And I'm like, it's raining? We got to play the Lakers tomorrow. Anyway, congrats to my daughter, Caitlin.
I love that. I absolutely love it. Get rid of the decorum of it all. Because, like, people that are like, what a nice ceremony. Wasn't that a nice ceremony? No, it was 3 hours long. It was not nice at all.
Get rid of the literal pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm proud of her, but, like, come on.
Yeah, you're like, the worst part is that it's just, everybody walks through and it's just like a competition to see who gets the biggest cheers.
Next week, my daughter has kindergarten graduation, and, like, we're going to have, the grandparents and stuff. I'm like, guys, it's kindergarten. You don't even pass that.
You guys just hate pure things in this world. You guys just hate it, man.
For it. Let's go right to the spicy quote. A lot of talk about. Anyone want to guess what there's been a lot of talk about? Dev, Eric?
Defense? Not less than you would think.
That's the one. It's Rui. It's Rui. And Michael Malone was asked about it again, and he said, quote, "This is the first time I've ever been in a series up 1-0. And the series is over in everybody's mind because they put Rui Hachimura on Nikola Jokic for 6 possessions. So let's see how it plays out tonight."
Dude, Michael Malone is so bothered by this.
Well, yeah, because it was like, what a tactical adjustment by Darvin Ham.
No, maybe there's
like,
a little bit of that.
The quote that we actually didn't hit in practice yesterday is he said, "I bet you every red penny I have that Ham would rather be up 1-0." He's feeling a little spicy. There's no doubt about it.
I don't know. I'm not saying this is why, but Darvin Ham is a George Karl disciple, so there might be a little rivalry, a little Malone, Darvin Ham rivalry. But he is bothered by this because here's the thing. Jokic doesn't care. Jokic doesn't see that. I honestly don't think Jokic is sitting there going like, what do I have to do to prove to these? Like, he doesn't care if you believe in him or not. But I think Malone is the guy that big market Malone from the East Coast, dog eat dog, grew up dog eat dog environment. He comes out here to chill Denver, and he is the team's like chip on the shoulder.
Yeah, totally.
He's the one. Like the guys are like whatever. He's like no.
Strong agree. Another sort of question about doubt. Relax, LA, relax. But a question about doubt to Michael Malone, and particularly Nikola Jokic, who is flying under the radar somehow despite the season he had. And he said, yeah, there are still people who are kind of being introduced to who Jokic is. And the guy who just put on a 34, 21, 14. By the way, he's averaging a triple-double in the playoffs.
So that quote, first of all, he was asked that question. So it was lobbed up a softball.
Yeah.
Actually, did you know I went down there? I went to the presser.
You did?
Yeah, I just wanted to be there.
Why don't you do the game notes?
Well,
I'm sitting in a stairwell listening to my phone.
I talk a lot on the show.
That's a good
you know
point.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So this was lobbed up to him, but I will say was it Lisa Salters? Was that who was? Is that right? Am I getting that wrong?
That's right.
That said she had never watched Jokic play. It's been like 7 years or something. So these things do happen. I think they're overstated now. Jokic's converted a lot of people, guys, in this playoff run. But the media is so influenced by that talking point that then they lob up softballs and it becomes an even bigger talking point. So I don't want you to think Malone like leaned into this one. He was asked about it.
Hey, typical note on pressers, it's almost all solicited. They're answering questions.
Yeah.
But, oh, by the way, quick housekeeping. Jamal still battling something, better place than game one, not 100%. Assume he plays.
He has to be on the up and up, though, because he was taken off of the injury report in this one. So, like, that's a positive.
He is feeling better, Malone
he said he was better.
It's a good point, Dev. He's still crabby about the defense in game one. First quarter was the only quarter they played defense. That's what they got to bring going forward. One more thing on tactical adjustments. Asked about how content they were to let Jamal Murray switch on to LeBron James. And he said, well, look, we have to keep Jamal out of foul trouble. We're much better when he's on the floor. But they run a ton of pick and rolls. Detailed the various pick and rolls they run, said whatever it may be, we have to be ready through that. But throughout 48, we have to be ready to give them different looks. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And what else do we got? Oh, Darvin Ham pregame, quote, we have all the faith in the world, in D'Lo. We expect him to come out and play big tonight.
Does not sound like they're going away from D'Angelo Russell. That's like my big takeaway. Not that I thought they would go away from him. Me personally, I would go away from him in the starting lineup. I know that sounds a little wild. I would go to him more against the bench unit if I was the Lakers, and I suspect they'll probably stagger him a little bit more. But I was thinking about this. Role players play worse on the road. You're going to need D'Angelo Russell. They're going to need him at home. And if you benched him tonight, like, what do you get it out of him in Game 3? So I think, again, Denver really was prepared to exploit him defensively.
Well, we have the starters, LA's starters. It's going to be D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt.
Wow, that's
LeBron
the adjustment.
James and Anthony Davis.
There you go. So we wondered what the adjustment is.
So Schroeder is the one that switched
Correct.
back to the bench.
Yeah, correct.
So what's interesting about this, and it's actually kind of what I suspected they would do. I know a lot of people thought Rui. The reason I did not think, and I actually put this on Twitter today, I had technical difficulties with the list. I was up till 3:30 in the morning. And then couldn't get it to upload or to publish probably. I was so mad. So I just tweeted out a thread. But one of the things I said was, if you start Rui, you don't have anybody scoring on the bench.
Right.
And so I thought that it could be in one hand out the other for them. The alternative would be to start Jared Vanderbilt. But here's the thing, Dev. That gives Denver one guy that doesn't have to be guarded except for on the boards, which is really big. And Denver got a lot of second chance points obviously early. But I do wonder, what happened in the second half was Denver got no stops, they got no transition. Jared Vanderbilt, I think, ups the chances that Denver gets stops.
Yeah, I mean, there's one less guy that you have to defend, but also it's an adjustment by the Lakers because the reason that they went in such a big deficit is because the size differential. Having three guards out there, Denver was able to take advantage of that, especially early on, and that built that big lead. By having Vando out there, it is going to, eliminate that, but it also starts other issues with a guy that you don't have to guard. So now it's on Denver to have to adjust, and that's something that hasn't been talked about for the last couple of days. Yeah. It was about the Hachimura thing, which now is not the big adjustment, at least to start the game.
I imagine this is just to start the game kind of thing. I imagine we'll get it won't just be I imagine.
Well, they were small. I mean, their problem was they were outscored, or out-rebounded, I think, 22-3 to start the game.
Yes.
And so this is we would rather our offense suffer than to get out-rebounded again.
For sure. I just imagine that they'll then also put Rui on Jokic.
Right,
and
that's coming later.
Yeah, exactly. Like, maybe he'll start the second half.
Kelly, you can pull that
this is just like, galaxy brain stuff coming in from the
Dev, that
Lakers.
shirt's from KK Joker, right? Actually,
Absolutely. Everybody that's asking, this is from Sacred Land. Sacred Land. So you can't buy it because it's unbuyable.
You have to be invited into Nikola
You have
Jokic's
to go
private
into
gym.
his actual gym, and then his guy has to give it to you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
What a flex.
Basically, you have to be Dev in Serbia. That's the thing.
I will say a lot of breath has been on the Rui move, and I think it's as funny as Malone does, even though I think that it's a legitimate good strategy. I don't think it's going to work like it did in game one, but it's the right move for the Lakers. But to me, that's not the biggest storyline for this series. It's not. It might not be second, third, or fourth. To me, the biggest storyline from Denver's perspective is how do they stop LeBron? Because LeBron found, okay, I can get the switch on Jamal Murray, I can attack, and Denver wasn't doing anything to stop. I put again on the list or the tweets today about how Denver's going to have to do it. But tonight, for me, tonight really can, I don't want to say determine the series, because there's more series to be played no matter the outcome. But I think tonight, if Denver solves that part of it, LeBron getting Murray switched out onto him, my personal optimism goes up 100-fold, because to me, that's the one thing where they really killed Denver. They were able to get comfortable offensive possessions doing a very repeatable thing. So what's Denver's counter? I'm not asking you to tell me the counter. I'm saying that's, to me, the Rui thing distracted everyone from the real story, which is LeBron got the easiest offense ever in the second half.
No, it's true. I mean, like, for me, when I'm thinking about what I saw in that last game, it has nothing to do with Rui Hachimura. It has everything to do with Jamal Murray getting absolutely cooked by LeBron James. And then as he started to go downhill, Anthony Davis started to go downhill, and their shooting percentage went through the roof because they were just finishing at the rim over and over and over. And for me, it's like they need to really figure out how to create that barrier on the external part of the defense and like not allow those guys to just charge headlong down the lane. So
I liked, one thing I thought about was like the IQ game and like the long game when it came to LeBron, because now it made me start to sit and think about how he got a lot of his points, especially in these type of matchups. He's such a cerebral player, such a high IQ player, that he found something that he can attack, and he forces the other team to have to adjust. So now they're scrambling, and he just is going to do that again and again and again until he finds other things. Right now, he showed, this is what I'm going to go after. You have to adjust to it. So I did like that, and that was the big storyline of game one, not the Hachimura thing.
All right, let's move on now, Vote, to this is a new game. I think it's going to be completely different. The rhythms, the details. Who needs to step up tonight?
Well, quick question for you. Do you think Michael Porter Jr. guards Jared Vanderbilt? And it's like a roaming type of situation? Yes. I like that. I think that could be good. But I think it has to be Michael Porter Jr., actually. I think open threes are going to be really important. I think you want to get out to that early lead again. Part of what happened with the LeBron question, which is a big question, but also remember Denver won that game. He was exhausted because they had to push to erase a lead. And so he's getting all these easy buckets, but he can't go bucket for bucket with Jokic. They need to gain ground. And what happens when he's got Jamal Murray staring at him with 5 fouls and they need 2 points? He settles for a 3. So I'm not saying that's going to happen every time, but if you get out to a huge lead, I think you can survive whatever that push is. And I think Michael Porter Jr. is crucial to that big lead. And I also think in that last game, he was so focused defensively on the boards and still shot 3 of 6. I think it's worth exploring how hot he is in the first quarter here. He seems locked in to me.
What about you, D-Line? I like the Michael Porter one, by the way.
I think
it's a really good one.
Repeat what you said. It's hard to hear.
Over here, Dev, who needs to step up?
I know the right answer is AG. Just because of what, how much this means. But I'm going to go with Jamal.
Love it.
Just because you want, they're going to put Vando on him. They're going to try these different looks. Yeah. But also, if he is able to lock in defensively, that takes away a lot of the Lakers' offense.
Totally.
If he was able to lock in and he's not the guy that's getting attacked every single time, if he's making those rotations, not allowing the switch to happen so easily, how do the Lakers score? I think that it just makes it a lot harder. So I'm expecting him to be a lot more locked in, a lot more focused, and making the effort to hold his own on that end of the floor. I think this is a monster game. We know what he can do on offense.
Yeah, for me, it is AG. It's AG, like the very simple counter to the Rui Hachimura / Jared Vanderbilt, allowing AG to just be roaming on defense is that if Anthony Davis to roam on defense is AG goes out, if he knocks down a couple threes or quickly circulates the ball to MPJ or to Jamal Murray, that sort of counteracts that. But more than anything, it's like going to be his defense on LeBron James that is going to be so sorely needed to make sure that we don't see what we saw last game, to make sure he doesn't get switched off of Jamal right away, or that Jamal doesn't get put on an island because of quick switches. It's going to be paramount that AG shows up defensively more than anything.
I'll go with Jokic. I know like everybody has to step up.
Yeah, he was so bad in that first game.
But I'm not, step up doesn't necessarily to me imply needs to be better, but the thing for me is I don't think with all of the other variables, the tide has turned so hard to Jokic right now that they're just waiting for a bad game. They're just waiting for things to turn, And for me, the pressure, now there's a new question to solve, a new equation to solve. The defense has to be good. This game is just going to take on a whole new texture. I think it's going to be much more of a dogfight. And look, man, there's nobody I trusted more in those moments than Jokic. We've seen all of the games where nobody else scores. Jokic is a goldfish.
And a fat wiener dog, right?
He's a goldfish. He grows to the size of his bowl. And honestly, tonight, I think, is going to be a harder game than Game 1. Game 1 was an offensive game. Denver got a lead. It was comfortable. I think this one's going to be a little tough. And as much as all those guys you guys mentioned need to be great, tonight, Jokic needs to find a way to repeat the performance from last time. I'm not saying the same numbers, but the same dominance.
And so much of it was the first quarter tone. Actually, one quote I missed in game notes. Malone was waxing poetic about Jokic's ability to read the floor, but he threw a that said in there. That said, we do like an aggressive Nikola Jokic. We like what it does for him, but also everyone on the team. And the way he was aggressive in that first quarter, I know we've all rewatched, the offensive glass. That's where he scored most of his points. That's where he was active. That's where Denver separated early. And, I'd love for him to be great in the fourth quarter the way he couldn't in that one game. But again, that big lead is how they won it. And they got out to that big lead because he was defending, actually, and rebounding as if his life depended on it. And if he comes out with that same energy, like, it's AD who has to match one of the best playoff games of his career from Game 1 in a loss, And he's got to match that energy, come back and do it again. And I think if Jokic just is there bringing energy in quarter one, it could be a deflating prospect for Anthony Davis.
I think, do you think they're going to play Vando on Jokic to start?
Yes. I think too much has been made about the Hachimura thing. Also, they're going to try to see it early on just to see if they can get Anthony Davis off of him. Like, Anthony Davis was like refried beans. Like, he had been cooked already. There's no way they want to recook him. You don't want to heat him back up. So, like, he's already been cooked. Let's have somebody else try it. And I just think that that's what they're going to go with. But there will be a lot of options where Vando was going to get switched off from him and go back to Anthony Davis, which is hilarious. Think about hunting Anthony Davis.
That's the mark.
I know.
It's funny, man.
You're like, dude, if we can just get Anthony Davis back on Jokic, that's easy.
Really all they want to do is make sure Anthony Davis can use his defensive prowess on everyone not named Jokic.
By the way,
which he can be effective.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right.
But there's also, like, they already are changing things up. Now they've got Vando in there, D'Lo in there after a different lineup in Game 1. If Jokic is guarded by Vanderbilt and he draws some early fouls, which is highly likely in my opinion, does it just throw their rotation further and
maybe?
I mean, you can. What I'm saying is, the Lakers are the ones that have had to answer the first questions. You can present them with questions again right away in this game. And I just like that position. So Vanderbilt's a great defender, great rebounder. This is worth a shot on the Lakers' end. But also, of all the mountains for Jokic to climb, I'm excited about it. Like, I think he can get him in foul trouble early, and then they have to bring AD back to Jokic.
I like it. All right, let's go to Shaquille O'Neal now.
Oh,
because
what?
I don't know
Hard left.
If you guys pay attention, but
is he here?
Shaq is one of those guys, as great as he was as a player, he's pretty slow to give other bigs their flowers. He's pretty critical of most bigs that have come through since his time. Kind of hates him. But yet, on Inside the NBA last night, Kenny, well, actually, just play the clip.
Yeah, it's a tall task. But you say, where is this I'm not going to kryptonite. Can I say it? Because
Yeah,
he's almost Superman.
No,
He's Superman who
actually, go on, give it to him.
He's Superman was in
Give
the
it to
building.
no, say it right.
Superman is in the building. So you have to figure out what the kryptonite is, Ernie.
So what I like, I mean, he didn't have to throw that one up. He didn't have to give it up. That was kind of a, hey, I'm not trying to say Superman. And he goes, no, he is.
No, do it.
I'm giving him my nickname. And it just made me think, you guys. First of all, let's just talk about the Shaq one. To me, this is kind of wild.
Yeah.
Shaq's actually like, hey, man, this guy deserves my nickname.
So I love it, like truly love it. I think it means a lot more than even what we're, going to talk about. This is a guy, because he's different than a lot of the other analysts. Shaq actually watches the games. He's had to, talk about a lot of his games, and you've seen him have no respect for him.
Yeah.
Kind of earning it throughout the time. He was kind of disrespectful by calling them, different nationalities and all the
Speaking
other
in
things.
Russian.
And it was like a back and forth thing where it's now like, okay, like really, this guy is for real. This guy is as good as advertised. I've seen the lows. I've seen the everything. I've tried to doubt him.
Yeah.
And he is he's that guy. And he's not a guy that gives a lot of respect. So he's earned every single second of it. And it's a guy that has watched him for a long time. I love it.
There are a lot of people that have heard a lot of things coming from people like us and Twitter, and they're just with Jokic specifically. It's like the goldfish thing. Like the regular season is a pretty small bowl. There you can get like relatively uninspiring Jokic performances throughout the year, but people like us are like, no, you don't get it. Like when the moment is the biggest, that's when he steps up. The idea that people were saying he was not a playoff performer coming into this was already ludicrous. But now people are seeing this, and things they've heard and dismissed for years and years are now starting to ring in their ears, and they're like, oh my God, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. They're just forced to be like, yeah, no, he's Superman. That's it.
And the list, it's not just how long it is now, but the different types of players there, right? Greatness, dominance, personified differently, respectively. Hakeem, Duncan.
First of all,
Shaq.
Hakeem, Duncan, Shaq. Just stop there. Of the living legends, that's the top.
Yep.
That's basically the top. All out of their way to praise him.
And the reason I love the Shaq one is at the height of the misinformation campaign about the juxtaposition of Jokic with the big fella in Philly, the word dominance was at the center of it all.
Yeah.
An undefined term that didn't really mean much besides just sort of like the aesthetic of watching a guy play very well. Having said that, who is arguably the most dominant force in NBA history? Shaquille O'Neal's a great candidate. For him to be the guy that sort of gives a blessing to Jokic, it's like, look, man, it's the footwork guys, it's the franchise lifer and Timmy, the winners, and it's the pure dominance guys in Shaq. They all see it. And we know coaches pop. So at this point, if you don't see it, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do I get this better than those fellas do?
Right.
Probably
But
not.
the thing that's crazy to me is Jokic doesn't play anything like Shaq. You know what I mean? Like, he used to hate Dwight Howard because Dwight Howard's a pick. He was always like, he needs to post up more like I do. He needs to do this. Jokic doesn't just post up. He does everything, and yet Shaq sees it and is like, doesn't matter.
Exactly.
That's my guy. That's what I am. That's what I believe in. And then secondly, a little subtle thing. Shaq hated Vlade.
Yeah.
Hated Vlade, who was one of the first big Serbians, right? And I think, I know this from talking to a lot of Serbs. In fact, even today I was talking to my guy Milos, who was talking about how a lot of Serbs view this as they do the Kings, because before the Nuggets it was the Sacramento Kings of the 2000s, and they're just waiting for the Nuggets to get screwed over in some way. Serbs feel they always get screwed over. Got screwed over with Vlade, then it's going to happen now. And he was kind of making that comparison, but there's the Vlade piece of that too, where it was like Shaq just talked shit about Vlade publicly, called him Sacramento Queens, none of this stuff. So for him, also to be like, none of that context matters for him. He's over all of it because he likes this guy so much. It's so impressive.
Yeah, I also think that there's a little bit of not understanding Vlade in his game. If you even think about Shaq as an analyst, when he came in, he was just a Hall of Famer. He's I think he's a lot different than anybody else, especially a Jokic, because he's a dominant force. He didn't have to learn game planning. He was the game plan. He didn't have to learn anything. He runs down the court, he dunks the ball. I think now he's starting to understand how skilled you have to be in basketball as he's now, taking on the profession of trying to learn plays and all type of stuff like that. That I think that he has an appreciation for Jokic's game because he's like a lot of it, and like a lot of analysts and people, they didn't understand the look.
Right.
He doesn't jump off the ground.
Yeah.
They're still talking about how unathletic he is, even though he's 7 foot. He's dunking on people now, and his footwork is insane. But it's just a different look. So I think it's a respect thing now. For that.
All right, let's go to
Why
open
do
up
we give her a
DraftKings
mic?
Sportsbook. I don't know. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Let Dev advise us.
Denver is. You see how I'm ready already? Denver is 5.5-point favorites in this game. They talked about all this adjustments. They talked about all this Lakers are ready and stuff like that. They're still underdogs in this game. Like, it goes to show how much they truly do respect this Denver team and how good they are.
And the home court.
And on court. I don't go with the lines, but that's just something to think about. The over-under of 225.5 is still pretty crazy to me because they just had a nuclear game where both teams got whatever they wanted, yet it's still 225.5. That's because they know, like we all know, the defense is going to be a lot different, and there's going to be the variance. They made everything in that game. So
I like the under a lot in today's game.
That's what I was going to push for, the under.
Yeah.
The under. This is like this is going to be different, a different type of game.
Game 2 in the Sun Series, 97, 87.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be
it's-
that, but I just
It
under
might be.
220.
It might be.
That's really low, but maybe. Slower pace game for sure.
Denver side of things,
Yes.
Denver side of things. We're not going to go Lakers
That
today.
means
Hell
we're gonna
yeah.
end
We're
on
not-
the
No, we're
Lakers.
not. He said we're not doing it.
We're not. So Denver side of things, I like Jamal. I always like Jamal.
Aw, he'll be happy to hear
He
you
finds
say
the
that.
mismatch. People will just be too small for him. But I don't think it's going to be the points. I think it's going to be the assist
Wow.
for Jamal, which is a lot different for him. Like, I just know that they're going to push up on him. 5.5 is the assist line. I think that he gets that. I think that's a one that I feel confident with. Jokic,
What about 7? Because I don't like the juice on 5.
7 is tough.
Gotta put
Let's do it
that.
on a, let's do it
put
on
it in
a
a parlay,
SGP.
man.
So don't put that one right now. We'll just do it on this SGP for later. So I'm gonna go straight over to assists for Jokic. His triple double right now is at minus 130
Really?
Yeah.
for a yes.
I mean, he's averaging one in the playoffs.
That's true.
Consider
The thing
that.
is, he's
playoff
going to
game.
get it. He's going to get it. The trick that you got to do with this is you got to go over to assist. If you think that he's going to get a triple-double, just go straight assist by
Yeah,
itself because
just take 10.
we already know that he's going to get the points. He's going to get the rebounds.
Yeah.
So you might as well just take the assist alone if we think he's going to get a triple-double. I think he's going to get a triple-double. I also know that he's going to get his assist as well, over 10. So I like him at that. I also love to root for three-pointers. This is an easy three-pointer game for me. I think that it's going to be Michael Porter Jr. over 2.5 threes.
Let's go.
They have it too low. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Jokic, a lot of kick-out opportunities. Michael Porter Jr. has to have his feet set. He's going to be ready for that. We're going to get that in because I know Vogt loves that one. I also really like KCP three-pointers.
I like him too.
Over 1.5, you have two guys that can make that happen. I know that he's going to make it happen. For the Dev's lock of the game, a very easy lock. It's going to hit very fast.
Okay.
KCP over points.
Wow.
You have a lot of pressure on these other guys. They're going to continue to be that's the guy that we're going to fade off of. If he beats us, he beats us. Well, he'll beat you. And he steps up in these big games. He has something against the Lakers. Over KCP threes. Points. Love it.
All right.
All right, same game parlay.
Yep, I've got one. This one has 5 legs
Oof.
and will net you plus 675.
Okay.
First one I love. Aaron Gordon three-pointers made. One
Okay.
Aaron Gordon
That's a
three-pointer
good
made.
bet, yeah.
Yeah, like
He's
I
gonna
don't know.
take 'em
We
tonight.
don't know that he's going to set the world on fire, but he's certainly going to get an
I bet he
opportunity.
takes like 2 or 3 in the first quarter.
He's certainly going to get an
try to sync
opportunity.
them out.
Yeah, so I like him. We won't go crazy on this, but we'll take one. And then, of course, Michael Porter Jr. threes. I'm taking 3+ because I think that then that is going to trickle over into MPJ. Aaron Gordon's going to kick it over. Both Jamal and MPJ should profit off of that greatly. I'm going to take KCP steals. One KCP steal. He had 3 last game. Very active hands. Very sticky. Very Cookie Monster-esque.
Sticky.
I'm also going to take Nikola Jokic triple-double. Yes,
Yes.
on the triple-double.
Yes.
Yes
Wow.
on the triple-double. And the last part, the coup de grace, Michael Porter Jr. over 7.5 rebounds.
Amazing.
He's been rebounding
Man, this
out
is
of
going to
his
be tough.
mind.
Jared Vanderbilt's going to make it different. You're right. It's so important. To me, he needs to.
He has to.
He needs to.
But there are going to be some where, yes, he's going to crash, but there are going to be possessions where Vando's camped in the corner,
Yep.
Porter's closer to the rim. We know he can go up and over. Boxing out has to be big.
He also gets a lot of, rebounds that sort of kick out, and every now and again he'll fight with Jokic for one. So I just see it happening. So that's good juice. Plus 675. That'll get you paid.
Can we have super chats? Yeah, before we get out of here, just one. Chris, $2. Media said MPJ bad defender. Adam, thoughts?
I mean, look, I went down to Ball Arena because I wanted to. My guy Vinny Goodwill's there. You guys ever listen to Vinny Goodwill and Bomani? I love their show when they're
Yeah,
together.
of
Like my
course.
favorite duo. I wanted to go down. I knew he was in town, so I went and chopped it up with him for a little while. Dude, people are turning on Jokic to realize he's great, but even Michael Porter to realize he's more complete than what his reputation was. And again, he wasn't a complete player.
Yeah, he earned his reputation.
But it's just
early
now
on.
coming. But yes, you're right.
Because he was hurt. He was diminished.
But I'm saying the reputation is recent. He earned
Right.
it all year, and now it's starting to catch up to him that, hey, in fact, Vinny even said he would try to stick him on LeBron. Why? One way to avoid the screen and recover and everything else is just give LeBron the matchup he wants and see if he'll try to ISO it.
Also, LeBron tried that in the first quarter, game one. Porter was there.
No rim. Backboard, no rim. That's how off he was.
I put it in writing last night. I know I'm a biased messenger, but I'm rewatching all these games too. I think Porter's been a plus defender in the playoffs.
He
man.
has.
I think he has.
All right, that does it for the pregame show, guys. We're going to take like a 3-minute break, and then we're going to be on the watch-along right back here. So hit the like button.
Let's go,
Head on
baby.
over there, and we'll see you on the other side.